Hi guys and girls, in this video I'd like to give you a round trip through the new MAAT thEQorange. So here is the new user interface. Just to give you an idea of evolution, here is the old UI. As former users have heard about the re-release plans to reissue the legendary Algorithmix thEQorange, they have reached out to us saying, please just re-release it as it is, but make it 64-bit and Mac compatible. We don't need any new stuff, we just want to have the original sound quality. But we actually couldn't resist to give it a complete new UI, and it was definitely worth it. I start to run you through the interface. At the bottom you find the 12 equal band sections. All of them cover the full frequency range. You can activate a band just by clicking the band on button or by clicking somewhere on the band section or into the frequency display. Each band has frequency gain, filter type and channel. With filter type you can toggle between bell, low shelf, high shelf, low cut and high cut. The low cut is actually designed as a kind of double Butterworth, which is called Linkwitz Riley filter, which has 24 dB per octave without a stop band, so that you can really get rid of DC offset if required. You can use Q, or in this case S, which stands for slope, to create gentle overshoots, which I do pretty often with Q set at around 0.8, so that I can support a tiny bit of low end at the same time when I low cut. Shelf has the same option to create very gentle curves up to very strong overshoots. With channel you can toggle each band separately between stereo, left, right, mono and difference processing. Mono and difference is the more correct terminology for mid and side. Let me now explain the sonogram on the big frequency display. As this EQ is a highly specialized mastering tool, especially to do surgical repairs without coloring the sound or affecting the time domain, we thought that a sonogram is more useful to detect areas with resonances or too much energy. You have an intuitive adjustment area for the sonogram, which opens by clicking this little arrow icon. The meter reflects the measured energy of the FFT-based sonogram, so that you can see where the energy lives in relation to the color coding. As you can see, red reflects a high level of present energy. If you do mastering for a television program, for example, you would highly likely have lots of headroom, so that you would drag down the top handle of the color bar. This way you can easily adjust the sonogram to the level structure of your audio and at the same time get a sense for the different colors, which reflect different energy of the respective frequency. The audio runs from bottom up, so that the actual audio is closest to the keyboard. With this handle you can define the transition between grayscale and color scale. This is because we didn't want to clutter the UI with too much color, and users who are colorblind can opt for grayscale by dragging the handle down. Okay, I'm going to close this window here, and right above this little arrow button you can zoom in and out on the vertical scale. The highest zoom gives you ±9 dB, which should be enough zoom. Another zoom function is this horizontal zoom under the keyboard. This allows you to target specific areas, for example the bass and low mid-range, which is where I personally use thEQorange most of the time. By the way, when you move the mouse over the frequency display, it becomes a hair cross and gives you information about the frequency and gain of the EQ. Let's continue here with the master section. Our aim was to keep it as simple and at the same time as useful as possible. On the top you find a numeric true peak meter, which can be toggled between input and output. It's all you need in terms of metering. This area right under the true peak meter is the difference monitoring section. It's a first in the world of EQs and very useful. By clicking the little center button, you hear the total difference between input and output. But you can also monitor just the positive contribution by clicking plus, and the negative contribution by clicking minus, which is very useful. Auto gain comes next. It is activated here and must be updated here after you have applied further EQ actions. The applied difference is displayed here. You can also click into the field and apply any individual positive or negative values. It allows you to toggle between the unprocessed and processed signal at the same loudness level. And finally, the obligatory output level. You can either drag and change the value by moving the mouse up or down, or click into the field and type in a value which applies for all numeric fields on this tool. In general, you can use the hotkey Shift for all numeric changes to fine-tune values such as gain, frequency or Q. Let's go to the left. Sort is basically useful to bring all the used bands in a proper order in case you felt the need to use, for example, band 10 for a change in the bass after you have set up other higher bands. Clicking Sort brings everything into the right order, which is quite handy and allows you to keep a good overview with ease. The button Oversampling activates an oversampling filter with the purpose to avoid aliasing in case you treat higher frequencies. As a rule of thumb, I would start with oversampling off, as I personally use thEQorange for removal of annoying frequencies in the lower mid-range and mid-range, plus low cutting if required. Having oversampling off reduces the CPU demand of the EQ and is better in case you use the EQ under 4K, as you have one complex DSP process less, and less is most of the time more, which also applies for this case. However, when you use higher bell filters at 4K or higher or apply a high shelf, it's recommended to activate oversampling. This avoids the appearance of unwanted alias frequencies. Google if you want to learn more about aliasing. The next button is F mode, which opens a drop-down menu. You can toggle between continuous, which is default, and allows you to set the frequencies in the finest surgical resolution, which makes sense for surgical applications. Remember to use Shift to have the finest resolution. If desired, you can set the frequency resolution to semitone, halftone, or minor third. Semitone can help if the resonances you want to tackle come from the instruments rather than room modes, so that your frequency always sits perfectly on the note. This accelerates the setup time of the EQ. If you want to use thEQorange for more aesthetical changes, it makes sense to reduce the choice of possibilities by using one of the two classic modes, which snaps to the frequencies known from very popular hardware mastering EQs. If you think of supporting the vocal comprehensibility in the area between 2 and 4K, for example, you would have 2000 options in the continuous mode with a hard time to hear a difference hertz by hertz, while the reduction of choice gives you a fast time to toggle between a handful of options and to hear which one fits best and just go for it. Using this mode just makes sense when broader cues are applied, and if you use this mode, you can use Shift for fine-tune purpose if needed. Tune is a nice feature in case your song is not perfectly at 440 Hz. When you move tune up or down, you can see that the keyboard is moving horizontally, and you can even see if the notes in the sonogram match the keyboard. Without this tune function, the three F modes, semitone, halftone and minor third, would make no sense, and as you can actually use the keyboard to play a tone you have in mind, it's a good idea to keep the EQ in tune with your song. If you have found the resonance node you have in mind on the keyboard, you can also use the keyboard to lock your active band, which is indicated by the frame around the band section, to the frequency played on the keyboard simply by making a right-click on the key you want to wish the band frequency to adjust to. Make sure that the correct band is active. If not, you have an undo and redo button on top of the EQ UI. The Sono Pre button lets you toggle between having the sonogram before or after the EQ. I usually start with Sono Pre on, so that my sweeping is not reflected in the sonogram and I can hunt the energy spots with ease. Later on you can switch Sono Pre off so that the sonogram shows the result of your EQ action. If I would now sweep, you can see how the sonogram reflects the EQ action. When the mouse hovers over a band node, a pennant appears to inform you about the key properties of the band you're working on. You can change values from here if you like, and you can switch a band off from here or activate the solo function, which also works with a right-click on the node. The solo function gives you the precise difference of the band in action in relation to the gain and Q. For sweeping, we recommend a Q15 setting, and in all other cases you simply hear in solo 100% what you get from your band in solo, depending on the gain and the Q. This little arrow here allows you to toggle between positive and negative gain values. After hunting a resonance by sweeping, you can click here to trade a plus against a minus for your gain value or vice versa. With the mouse wheel you can alter the Q value of your band, which is also possible by use of the hotkeys Ctrl-Alt in conjunction with dragging the node. With the hotkey Control, you can fix the band you're working on to the actual frequency, so that you can find the right gain and Q setting without messing around with the frequency you just have found. You have also a few other hotkeys, like using the numeric keys to jump to the respective band, which just works for band 1 to 10 due to the absence of an 11 or 12 key. And here's a good one. When I'm done with the setup of the whole signal chain, I usually save that signal chain for that song, and then I save it under the name of the next song and reset everything so that I can verify if the adjustments fit to the next song too or needs fine-tuning. As I don't want to waste time by deactivating all used bands one by one, I have added the All Active Bands Off function, which is a right-click on the bypass button here. Okay, with undo I go back in case we need the setup to show you some other stuff. As we are here at the top of the UI, you can open the Preferences window here at the gear icon. You find a bunch of essential functions here, as well as the option to change the color for the different channel types. We have decided to give each channel type one specific color, like orange for stereo and blue for mono, etc., which allows you to keep a great overview on your setup. Last but not least, you can save your presets here, which allows you to exchange presets between platforms and DAWs. Please don't ask me for presets, as I'm not a preset guy. The preset Friedemann's starter is just a starter for me to reduce mouse clicks rather than a preset. As a high-class mastering tool, the EQ is compatible up to 384 kHz and the Sonogram too, so that this EQ can also serve for DSD and high-res projects. By the way, on the product page you can find a bunch of A/B working samples to be downloaded. The reason why I have pursued this project is because using thEQorange on cleaning up the mixes makes some magic. Mixes which appear to be muddy and glue somehow in the loudspeaker suddenly show up with a certain ease and naturalness, which I haven't found with any other EQ. And when having too much low end, the orange low cut keeps the transients tight and maintains the kick like no other EQ I know. One last thing. Look for our annual commitment subscription, which comes below $10 per month, including the dongle for the first year. I finished this video with a quick A/B of an unprocessed mix and the mix just treated by thEQorange. Please have in mind that this is not a complete unmastered versus mastered comparison. I have used thEQorange in a way as I would use it within my mastering chain in conjunction with other specialized EQs and tools down the signal chain. thEQorange takes just care of the initial decluttering to create some space for subsequent treatments.
What the hell is wrong with me? I got all I need. What the hell is wrong with me? Man says I am blue. What the hell is wrong with me? I got all I need. What the hell is wrong with me? Man says I am blue. What the hell is wrong with me? I got all I need. What the hell is wrong with me? Man says I am blue.
In order to have a better A/B comparison with full PCM resolution and to be able to compare thEQorange with your other favorite EQs, you can download these files from our website. Okay, thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye.